Hey guys, this is Nathan and welcome to the Gaming 4. Today in this Factorio tutorial, we're going to be covering our electricity part 2. Now I've got a couple exciting things to introduce to you guys that'll fully automate and really fix the setup that we have here. I know we've been sitting on this setup for quite a few episodes while I've been introducing new mechanics, but today we're going to be changing a lot of what we have going on here. So let me introduce two new objects to you guys and we'll explain their mechanics. So the first one is an inserter. Now this is just what I would consider a normal inserter. It costs one iron plate, one iron gear wheel, one electronic circuit, and costs a total time of 2.2 seconds to create. So it's very cheap, very inexpensive. You will be creating a lot of these. The second item that we're going to be working with today, that is new anyway, is an electric mining drill. This one is substantially more expensive. It costs 10 iron plates, 5 iron gear wheels, 3 electronic circuits, and 8.2 seconds to create. So obviously there's a bit more that goes into each of these objects, and they're going to be very important with this next stage of our automation. So this video does chain off of the last electricity video. In the last electricity video, we left off with our boiler steam engine setup with our offshore pump, some normal pipes, and our small electric poles. Today we're going to be using these to fully automate what we have going on here. So let us start by talking about how electric inserters work. I'm going to first run our electric wires over here. Alright, so let me start by talking about how these normal inserters work. Now you guys are probably familiar already with the burner inserters if you've made it this far in the series. Electric inserters are exactly the same. They pick up from one end, which is denoted by this line, and insert into another end, which is denoted by this arrow. Also, they run off of electricity instead of coal. This makes it way easier to hook them up because all you need is a power line near them in order to get them working. Whereas with the burner inserters, you kind of needed coal on one of the lines in order to keep them filled with coal. Or you had to manually insert it itself, which is obviously less efficient than having it automatically take the power from the electricity. So the second object that we're going to be working with today is the electric mining drill. This one is also very, very important. This is what's going to be automating our ore production. This is super important because without it, you really can't automate any of your ore smelting or ore production. So the way that these work is very similar to the burner mining drill. So this is a burner mining drill next to an electric mining drill for comparison. Now the burner mining drill only is able to mine ore from the 4 spots that it sits on. Now this electric mining drill is a little bit different. It can mine ore from this entire green highlighted area that you see when hovering over it. I think it's a 5x5 area, so it can mine the total of those 25 squares that surround it. Also, the main thing that's an improvement about this type of mining drill is it does run off electricity as well. All you have to do to connect it is hook up a small electric pole near it and it'll automatically pull power from your electric system. Alright, so what would be a good way to use these new mining drills in order to improve our setup? Instead of having 2 burner mining drills like we did before, all I have to do is set up 2 electric mining drills in this specific setup, and I have the production of ores in an automated fashion. All we have to do is keep power to these electric mining drills and I'll have a constant supply of ore coming out of this iron mining area. Now of course you will want to replace all of the burner inserters with your electric inserters. They're strictly better and there's really no reason not to use electric inserters, and we'll pretty much just be using this to fully automate our smelting process. Before we had to fill all of our burner inserters with coal. Now we don't. They run off of electricity, which really speeds up everything for us. Now one other thing that is pretty important as well is you'll want to replace all the burner mining drills with electric mining drills, especially for the coal, and we'll be going over this in a little bit more depth in just a second. Coal is going to be the lifeblood of your smelting, and if you don't have electric mining drills working on your coal setup, you're going to have trouble when it comes to producing power and keeping everything running properly. Just like every other object as well, you can press R on these mining drills to rotate them. That's just kind of a standard thing and it works with almost every object. Alright, so now we've got our 4 electric mining drills running. All we have to do is hook up electricity. So this might take a little while, but we'll run electric poles all the way up to the rest of our electric system, and that should get them running and producing coal automatically for us. Alright, that should connect our coal miners. We should have a steady stream of coal now flowing into our coal track. Lastly, we could do this with our copper setup, and really in this stage of the game you should start to have an automated copper setup, but for now we're just going to remove the burner mining drill. We'll put it in the inventory. We'll sort of forget about it, and I'll work on that off screen later, and I'll get a good setup for that going as well. So up to this point I've kind of gone over how to replace certain things with your electric counterparts. Well, there's actually one other super important thing that we need to work on before we go too much farther. If you guys remember back when we set up our boiler steam engine setup, the boilers have to run off of coal, and it's super important that we keep this fueled at all times. Now, the only issue with our current setup in terms of iron production is that our boiler has to be manually filled. So it would be a lot better for our situation if we are able to pipe coal up to that boiler and make it automatically filled with coal. That way we don't have to worry about it running out at any time in the near future. So I'm going to be introducing a new object to you guys that will help us fix this situation, and it'll help us get coal up to this boiler. This is called a splitter. Now, the splitter can be found under the logistics section. It costs 5 iron plate, 5 electronic circuits, 4 transport belts, and it costs 9.2 seconds to create. So it does take a little while to create. It'll also take from your transport belt supply. Splitters are very useful when you want to split the contents of a transport belt. So for example, if I place a splitter on our coal line, it'll take half of our coal line and place half of it on this belt, half of it on this other belt. As you guys will notice, because this belt is full, it places the totality of our coal onto the second transport belt. There's a bunch of cool tricks that you can do with these splitters later in the game, but all you should know for now is that it splits off what's on one line onto 2 lines. So now that we have our coal split off from our main coal line, all we really have to do is run this all the way over to our boilers. And I know this is kind of a pain, but trust me, once you have it set up, it will be totally worth it, because coal is the lifeblood of electricity, and if you lose electricity at this stage in the game, you're gonna have some major issues later on. You need to keep your electric supply as consistent as possible, and in order to do that, we really need to use a lot of coal. Alright, so this is a bit of a janky setup, but it's actually pretty good for what we needed to do. This setup will allow our coal to run all the way over to this machine, and all we have to do is have an inserter insert it from this line into the boiler. This is of course expandable, and when we do add more boilers and more steam engines, we can just extend this coal belt all the way down the line, and it should provide for all of them. So of course, you know, there's some better ways to organize this. Depending on the location that you have your boiler and steam engine set up, it can really vary how you have to get the coal line there, but that's pretty much something that you'll have to figure out for your unique setup. But what's important is that you do automate your coal getting to your electricity production. If you don't automate the coal getting to the electricity production, at a certain point you will run out of electricity and everything will be shut down, and then you'll have to manually place coal in there to keep it running properly. Alright, so there's one last thing that you guys should know about the electricity system in general that is actually kind of important. So if you click on one of these electric poles, it doesn't matter, it could be any of them, it brings up some detailed information about your electrical network. One of the main things that you need to know is the consumption and production of your electricity. Now this gives you your overall stats of what is producing your electricity. In this case, is just 2 steam engines. It also gives you information about what is using most of your electricity. Now, one of the main bars you want to check out is the satisfaction and production bar. The satisfaction bar shows how much of the electricity is being satisfied, as in 100% of the electricity that we are creating is going into the consumption of electric mining drills and our inserters. This is a good thing. We want the satisfaction bar to be 100% green, because it means that all the electricity that we need is being provided for us. Now, the bar that we don't want to be at 100% is our production bar. This shows the amount of production that we have as relating to the total amount of production. If this production bar is maxed out, it means that our machines would be working and producing power at their maximum output. Thankfully, they're pretty intelligent so that they don't produce much more electricity than we actually need. It's very efficient in that way. And because of that, we produce the minimum amount of energy that we need to keep everything running. So something might start happening if you have a lot of things using electricity, where this production bar will be maxed out and the satisfaction bar will be yellow or red and will be decreasing. This means you're not producing enough electricity, and at that point you will want to expand your electricity production setup. Of course, I will be making a separate video on how to expand that setup, but the next time I touch on it on a video, I will be expanding it probably tenfold, so it'll be interesting to see what kind of techniques I use, as well as what kind of techniques you guys have used as well. So anyway guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Hopefully you fully understand how electricity works, and you fully understand how to integrate that into your setup as of now. Thank you so much for watching. Please like this video if you enjoyed it, and please subscribe if you want to see some more. I will see you all later.